Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last
Here's my Dakota. Gets me around. Good daily.
Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Oh, Miss Lucy dead and gone, left me here to weep and moan. Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground.
Guys, welcome back to the channel. You see behind me, we got the blue truck. She's finally coming in for repairs after we destroyed her back in October, I think. The rear end blew up in it, so we got a brand new rear end sitting out there. However, the big story is this truck right here. This truck has been my daily for, well, it hasn't been my daily recently in the past year and a half, but it used to be my daily. Used to drive all over Pennsylvania and New York for work, and it's finally time to reconstruct her. We got parts waiting for her outside. We still need to get 2 doors, a new bed, a new rear bumper, and a new front bumper for it, but everything else is taken care of. So we get new hood stacks. As you can see, that one fell. We're actually gonna do a real paint job on it this time, not house paint, because the house paint stuck and it worked really well, but we want upper quality a little bit. We're gonna lower it, we're gonna get new lights for it, and we're gonna do a new hood stack paint job like I already said, and it's gonna look pretty sweet. So now it's gonna be a designated burnout truck. It was pretty much just like a thrash truck. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to do like advertisement, obviously, since it has criminal diesel on the side. But now I've been thinking of what to do with it. I think we're gonna do a full burnout build with it. That's it, and I'm gonna start the time lapse for you guys and get this thing running. From the last video and all the wood stride, you guys can see how absolutely mangled this thing is. Decent amount of rust back up in there. Fender flare has fallen off multiple times from the tires blowing out. It's all gonna get replaced. I'll show you guys the parts that we picked up out here. So far, like I said, this isn't all the parts that we will eventually buy, but we have a new rear end, but that's for the blue Dakota, so that's not for the truck that's about to be a burnout truck. But we do have a new hood, new grill, if you can see it up there, mint, like literally no dents, no scratches, no rust, anything. And we got these really, really nice quarter panels. They're a different color, I know, but it's all gonna get painted after the fact. We also have fender flares. And then the cross member, because after we hit that tree, the cross member on the front broke. That's all the new parts for now. We are going to start ripping this thing apart. We'll put you guys on time lapse. Especially Ford's finally sent me a new cap for my truck. If you guys notice in the videos, driver's side rear is missing a hubcap. I know it's been driving me nuts as well. Day 2 of the teardown. As you guys can see, whole front clip is removed. Got a bunch of makeshift grounds here, so we made sure the truck will still start when we pull out of the garage and go wash it. So what I did was I bought a huge thing of Purple Power degreaser. We'll degrease the whole engine bay, clean it up. We got some enamel high heat engine paint that we'll coat the whole thing with, and then also POR 15, the rust enamel to put on the frame. So this whole thing underneath will look mint, or at least way better than what it does. Eventually, when it stops raining outside, we'll get it all cleaned up. Here's all the parts. We got the two infamous hood stacks. Obviously, one of them only worked for 10% of the time it was on the truck, but this is the one that worked, I guess. Yeah, so that's currently the update of the truck. We got one door off, which I don't even know where that door is. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Never mind. Well, we're going to take off that driver's side door here shortly, and then work on taking the bed off. Everything is degreased and cleaned up. We did a little test run on the paint right here on the frame. It actually looks pretty clean. It's just with the engine enamel, we're gonna actually do the POR on the whole frame, so it's not gonna be that flat looking. It's gonna be a little bit glossier. The truck is officially completely stripped down, and we still have to remove the rear disc brakes or drum brakes, get it painted up. But that's what we're gonna be working on today and a little bit over the course of the next week, getting this thing completely de-rusted for the most part and painted. So the last clip you guys saw was probably about 3 or 4 days ago. We have officially secured all of the parts for the truck. So we got two, they're actually pretty clean doors. They're rust free. We got a decent front bumper. It's kind of scuffed up, but it's gonna get sanded and painted anyway. This has a little bit of rust on the inside. No rust up over top of the flares. Same with that one. They came off of two different trucks. Obviously, they're two completely different colors. Decently rust-free tailgate. We also got this bed. Now this thing, it could be a little bit cleaner, but it was pretty cheap off of Marketplace. The fender flares are falling off, so we're gonna have to put them back up. It does have rust down in there. A completely rust-free truck isn't necessarily the goal. I just don't want any showing. So this is still the truck state. We did degrease it a little bit. We got most of the flakes off. It's gonna be just as low as this blue truck. A little bit wider spacers on it, but that blue truck sits really, really nice. I love the way that thing sits, my buddy. Yeah, so that's how this one's gonna sit. We're gonna do the same rear bumper thing. We're gonna leave the tailgate, leave the bed, obviously, and just have no rear bumper because I don't know why, I really like how that looks. And I'm not a big fan of roll pans. Full of hugs today, ain't ya? Yeah, full of hugs, good boy. So we actually have the infamous half or quarter gallon of the POR 15. I've used that on every single truck I've ever built, and it works amazing. Next step we're doing here, we loosened the tensioner, we got the belt off. The power steering pump is off. So what I determined was either there's a gasket or something on the power steering pump itself that is just absolutely draining the power steering fluid. I know this sounds like a joke, but this truck is caught on fire 4 times total, and it's all because of the power steering fluid leaking onto the exhaust. And usually we're doing burnouts and stuff, and that exhaust gets red hot, ignites the power steering. It's actually transmission fluid, so it catches fire. It's just a massive fire hazard that we need to get rid of, especially if we're doing competitions with this thing. The pump down in there, it's laying right there right now. We have to undo the return line, or the feed line, I guess, and then the return line, get that out and diagnose what's going on. We might need a new steering pumps. And we drained all the power steering fluid. In this case, it's transmission fluid because we're using ATF. But anyway, pump itself is over here. So we have the reservoir up here on its side. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's fine. This is the back side of the pump, and this is the pump itself. What it has came down to is this little gold gasket right here. As you can see, there's a little bit of corrosion on the bottom there, which I'm assuming either up top or down bottom is where it's leaking from, and it's gotten to the point, I'm guessing it's down here because it's really bad. The pump is still good. Everything's still good. It's just this gasket started leaking. Once we replace this, it should be good to go. As far as that goes, for the power steering, I think we're going to call that a night on that subject. The power steering pump goes, we did find the issue, which is awesome because that has been bothering the truck. That's why we haven't filmed with it in so long, is because the power steering pump is just awful. It's so hard to turn. It's ungodly. I think we're going to work on the rear end a little bit more. We're still waiting for the paint to dry. I got my cool little Monster Energy catch can here for the overflow on the radiator. Oh yes boys, 2-inch spacers finally have arrived for the Burnout truck. It is currently midnight. The current state of the truck, have it back on the ground, and as you can see, it is significantly lower than when it went up on the jack stands. To be honest with you, some time has gone since I recorded the last clip. The front end, right now, it only has 3.5 inches only, but it has 3.5 inches of spacers. The RT wheels, and this is kind of how she sits. She sits pretty danced out. It looks sweet. Super low up front here. Now I'm gonna be putting the doors on, getting it buttoned up a little bit, just a little bit. Got everything mounted up. We got the new hood on. Grill inserts, of course, deleted. They're sitting down there. Right now we're mocking up a intake system. Not really a system, just intake piping so we can put the air filter out of the headlight. Never seen it done before. I'm sure it has been because it's actually pretty easy. This is only 2.5 inch piping. We're gonna end up ordering 3 inch. Normally the air box would sit right here on the stock truck. Of course, that was removed many burnouts ago. All right, so the truck is outside. We got our setup here. We're gonna put that on this new bed. All right, it is way late at night here. Well, it's not really that late. It's 9 o'clock. So the truck is in the garage. We have the bed on. This truck is made up of like 5 or 6 trucks now. It's completely inbred. Anyway, I did put the double shackles on, and this is how the truck sits. So right now, I cut holes in the bed for the double shackles. We lowered it about 5 inches in about 10 minutes. You can call it stupid all you want, but it worked really well. Hey, Cash, you mind? Stop. If you thought the double shackles were crazy, I introduce to you triple shackles. We have shackles off of that truck over there that my brother kindly donated to me. Leave it alone, please. As you can see, we've already cut off the ends to make sure they fit in these 2.5 inch leaf springs. We're gonna take off this front wheel so we can get access to down around the frame here so we can start installing the hood stack. And go straight down and hook a full 180 wrap around the frame and come back up and kind of work our way up towards in here. As long as it works, it looks cool, and it functions properly, it's good enough for this truck. These things look pretty sick. Well, that one doesn't yet, but this one looks sweet. It's got this nice gold sheen to it. I do need to get a 2.5 inch exhaust clamp. This one turned out really well. We are starting to work on the intake. We finally got the piping straight off of eBay, running it right from the throttle body down through the headlight. I got the air intake, which is nasty looking in my opinion. So I'm gonna get to work on this. Well, boys, after probably a full week of working on the hood stacks and getting this thing back ready to run. Actually, it's been 2 weeks trying to get back running on the road again. Here she is. She is out, finally out of the garage. We just filled her up with some gas. Hood stacks are out of the hood. Intake is working in full effect. We're gonna take it for a first test drive here right about now and see if we can get any flames coming out of the hood. Put it in reverse. This thing hasn't been on the road in probably a couple months. It still technically shouldn't be. Nah, it's fully registered and insured and everything's good to go on it, so I don't have any issue taking it out on the road. Dash light's going off. One low here. Slow down, we're going about 40. Seems like it's driving pretty good. We'll do a pull here so we can get some high revs on that first gear. hopper open. Good to go. We got the intake running down through here. Antifreeze sounds like it's boiling a little bit. She probably got a little hot. As far as the exhaust goes, they held up pretty good. Truck is sitting out here. We did end up trimming the hood stack so they're not as tall. And we did end up wrapping the rest of the pipes. And they do clear the hood anymore so it's not hitting. The wrap does kind of look a little messy. But we had to work around these exhaust clamps because these are stainless and this 90 is not, so we couldn't weld it, so we had to clamp it. We did some heat tape on the the brake reservoir, and did some heat taping over here and on the fuse box wire, and the air intake's all good to go. Ready to get sanded tonight. We're gonna start wet sanding and yeah, get it prepped for paint. This huge restoration type project. It's not coming to an end because we got a couple more weeks, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to finish this in one day. Over the next 2 weeks, we should be able to get paint on the truck, primer paint, and then the plan right now is to do decals for the whole livery, if that's what you want to call it. All right, guys, truck is finally sanded. I'm crazy excited. This is where it starts transforming, because it has looked like absolute garbage up until this point. I go down and get it cleaned up and get everything ready for primer. This has been a really tight time frame. This whole video that you've been watching has taken place over the past month. I started on April 14th and it is now May 21st today. It's taken a lot of work to get to this point, but we're starting to get there. It's time, guys. I'm gonna cut the video right here. Hopefully you guys watch this point. I know the Dakota content doesn't really get a lot of views, and I appreciate every one of you even clicking on this video, let alone making it to this point. Thank you so very much. We'll see you guys in the next one. This thing will start transforming into something that I've kind of always wanted to be. So see you in the next one. Thanks for watching again. I think I said that like this, but see ya.